see numbers going, but I don't have my glasses on. So.
I'm Jake Schriner.
I'm Bob Nelson.
I'm Tracey White.
I'm Pastor Johnny Leckie, and this is the summer eve siesta. No. This is what? This is the eve of our summer siesta podcast. It doesn't matter. This is the Compass Conversation podcast. Welcome. We're glad you're here.
Yay!
Watermelon you up to?
Watermelon. We will follow you. You have the name above every name. We will follow you, King Jesus. It is good watermelon.
Reach for that one.
Summertime, here we are. Well, hey, it's been a few days since we've been together to talk about Compass Church stuff and each other. So I'm going to start with the one that has the least watermelon in their mouth. To my right, Jake Schriner.
Hello.
How are you, sir?
I'm good, thank you.
That's good.
Today was like the most Monday of Mondays I've had like all year. Last weekend is bad, which kind of spoiled my whole weekend because I was thinking about something I had to do this morning going in. It's really frustrating because I didn't get the call for the incident until after I left work on Friday. So I was thinking, sweet, going into my weekend, I don't have anything to worry about. I get a call about halfway home. So had to deal with that this morning going in. Employees are messing up stuff. I had to send one guy to Concentra today because he split a tendon in his finger and now he has to get surgery on it.
Oh no!
Which it's worse than it sounds. Like he's limited to just a couple pounds on his right hand, and then after he gets surgery and recovers, he'll be back to full strength. So it's not a huge deal. But we're just gonna put him on the forklift for a couple weeks. Hey, move stuff around. Yeah. But yeah, other than that, we had a good time last night with the garden, doing some mowing and weeding and all that fun stuff. And it's surviving this heat, which is it's actually doing very well in this heat. It's not even it's thriving, which is shocking because this heat just decimated parts of my home garden.
Oh,
so
all right. Well, let's come back to that part here.
Okay.
Garden stuff. Glad that you're
I'm doing good.
doing well. I know you're excited about it. I am. I am too, man.
Yeah.
From day one, garden man.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. I do want to talk about garden here. Okay.
So yeah, I did not. However, he had the Monday. I didn't have quite a Monday, so it was a pretty good day. We went into the office, which I don't usually do on Mondays, and so I'll take Wednesday as my work from home day because the 9:30 p.m. softball game. Anyway, but yeah, it was just a good day. Got to meet she's got a very weird title, and I'm hoping it will create a large amount of change. I don't know, I'm not even gonna remember the title. But she's part of our group to try and change the culture, try and go advance things, especially on the whole continuous improvement concept. And making sure that people have avenues for like growth in their role and whatnot, for job change and mobility and everything. But it was just a productive meeting, very open. We were able to air some of the problems that we've seen in the past. She just started a month ago and she's already seen some of that, so that kind of stuff. She was really enthusiastic about and it didn't seem like I'm making this up kind of stuff. It's like, this is really cool to be here, and so it was a good meeting. And then work was fine. So it was hour and a half out of my day, but it was fun. So,
Well, awesome. Glad you're here, my friend. Across the table, Tracey White. How are you?
Continuous process improvement is a bad word for me. There are reasons. No, it's a good idea, though. I mean, it's really great as long as you don't get pottered.
Pottered?
Yeah, I have to tell you about that later.
I can guess.
It's an individual. But,
See, I was imagining some kind of conformity, some kind of pressure into a potter's wheel.
Some sort of metaphor.
If you go into a process improvement, anything, there is such a thing as just too much or too much into the weeds to where people just lose interest and by the end of it they're like, why did we even get anything done?
Yeah.
So you got to watch out for that sort of thing with the.
We have a joke about that. So the when some system comes online or a change in process goes, somebody it's always somebody got their green belt. It's
That's right.
It's a Six Sigma.
Six Sigma joke. And it's like now we're forced to use it.
Yep.
Absolutely. If you have it, you better know what you're talking about, especially if you have a black belt.
Yes. Yeah.
So a counter to that point, real quick. Do you know where the worst iron ore in the world is?
Where?
In Japan. And they make the best steel from it
Wow.
because it is the same process 1,000 times over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And they get it perfect.
Wow.
So they use continuous improvement to turn the worst into the best.
That's good.
It has its moments.
It has its moments.
No.
In the right setting, it's purposeful.
Yeah.
As long as no one's justifying their job by junk, and it becomes feature creep,
That's
bloat.
That's the green belt joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So thanks for joining us on the Business Buzzwords podcast.
Yeah.
And we're going to say a few more buzzwords.
No,
Enough of that.
great.
Back to you. You're good.
Yeah, easy day. Nothing much going on. Did enjoy the weekend. Garden.
It was a great weekend.
The Surf Sunday thing. Going to see the mother-in-law, and generally taking it easy. Yeah,
the beard's looking good.
Yeah, it's really.
It's in that itchy stage.
Is it getting itchy for you too?
Not really so much. It's more the constant like tickle on my lip or something. Yeah, that's what bugs me the most, I think.
Okay.
I'm actually looking forward
Oh,
to
dude, yeah. You like sleep with your face on the pillow and then pushes them up in your nose. Yeah, you wake up sneezing.
Yeah. So I don't know how long it's going to go before I actually go ahead and
Well, you
shave
only
it
got
off.
like at most a few weeks anyway. Right?
Yeah, I think 3 weeks. I go
When you
back
guys
to it wearing the uniform. But Saturday we went up to Estes Park. We did the Stanley Hotel tour. That was a lot of fun. But it was good just doing something. It was Kathy and Josh and myself. So the little part of the family unit, but not the whole family unit. John,
Awesome. Oh, yes.
how about you?
I did something today I have not done in months and months and months and months.
Slept in.
I slept past 8 o'clock.
Wow.
Nice.
Happy.
That's
Summer
gotta be, like,
win.
years for me.
Yeah, right.
It's like,
Even if
I was
you
almost
try.
4, so
I can't even do it. Even no alarm. I'm up at the latest, usually around 6 or so.
Yeah.
But it was weird.
Good for you.
But yeah, so generally a fairly easy day, which I really kind of needed. I did do some good old weed pulling and some other things as well. But yeah, we have a constant. I said, well, I always have something. At any point, at any time, I always have work to do.
Yeah.
Now, it's not always pressing work, but I always have work to do. So I was able to do it.
Pretty sure that's in Genesis 3.
Yep.
Work is not bad. Work is not the result of sin. Mankind worked before there was sin. But anyway, I don't know what you're getting at there, but
The curse of work.
The curse of work.
The work got cursed, and now we have way too much of it to enjoy.
it became more difficult. See, this is a total tangent we're on. But and it's also part of the series that I'll be doing later. So, I mean, I don't want to give.
Sorry for the spoilers.
Well, it's like I will just simply say we are designed to do work. We want to do work. Is good. Work is a good thing, and it can still be today, even though. Work became, as you say, I think I understand what you're saying, that work itself became cursed and it became harder to do, even farming, right? But anyhow.
Absolutely.
Did I say farming?
I do, yes.
You're not a farmer, but you're the closest thing to me that I know right
If
now.
I had enough land, I would.
You would be a farmer.
Absolutely. I'd do that in my spare time. That sounds like such.
Well, speaking of, so we were all talking about the garden here. So there's a lot going on the past couple of weeks. We talked about any of these things because we have a lot going on. But I just wanted to mention that at the garden last night, it was right at that time. It had been so hot and then it suddenly cooled off.
Oh yeah.
And that breeze was blowing. And when I got there, you guys were already there, and you were pulling weeds and doing stuff. And like, I don't know, 2 years ago, if I thought, oh, it's time to pull weeds, I'd be like, God, it's just more work. It's like mowing in Texas, in triple-digit weather. You're just like, it's hard. But it was so nice. Just sitting there pulling weeds and talking with you guys and just taking it slow, taking it easy. There's so few things in our lives where we can just take it slow, take it easy, and enjoy just being together. And then when that was wrapped up with eating the off the line, the raspberries and the carrot,
which was
cutting up the
Nice
carrot.
sweet
That carrot was really sweet. It was delicious.
Yeah, it was just like a nice all around cheers everybody kind of moment. Great way to end the day. Great way to end the week. I just really enjoyed it. So I just wanted to say that.
For sure. That's good. It's definitely something that requires patience. There is no hurry in
You can't
gardening.
make
There is
it.
nothing you can
That's right.
do that's going to make that plant or that tomato ripen faster or grow taller or whatever.
That's right.
You're going to give it time.
Yeah.
You can give it, enable it with some nice compost and nutrients and all stuff, but you can still give it that time it needs. And
Yeah, that's great.
Which is hard for a lot of people in our world of instant gratification.
instant gratification.
Yeah.
So there's something about that delayed gratification of gardening that is so
Sure.
like you put in all that work, and then at the end you get to not only enjoy it, but you also get to relax while you enjoy it. There's after the harvest, there's not work that comes with it afterwards.
Yeah.
You get to sit there and enjoy your potatoes and your onions, or whatever. You know, there's a little bit in going to, like for long-term storage and stuff, but hard work's out of the way, and you get to enjoy the fruits of it. It's
That's
satisfying.
why zucchini's so fast. John was going, we need to give him a little.
Gotta feed them in juice. Let's go. Yeah, they gotta.
It's like what Leon and I were out pulling those weeds that are still, we're pulling out all the big ones, and we're going to do this spray stuff.
Uh-huh.
And while we were out there, I'm just sitting there, and it was the same kind of thing. This wasn't garden, this was just pulling weeds, but we're still sitting, and it's like, it's such a mindless thing that it gives your mind a chance to think.
Yeah.
Talk through and think through things. So it was just really nice, kind of a weird thing, but I really have dug it. I was going to say what that is. I know it's different from like our livelihood, and we have a big farm, and we have to have a big harvest.
Yeah, there's not a stress.
It's a different, I know farmers face, if any farmers out there who are listening, they're like, who are you? City folk gardeners or whatever. But, I know it's hard. I know that there is hard work and stuff in big farms needing to produce. But our community garden, I think, has been just a great thing all around.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun.
I mean, it's not just about the growing thing, but the people that we get to know and talk to
That was
around.
part of the goal, too. So I'm glad it's working that way. Well, what else? What did we just do? Oh, yeah, let's talk about yesterday. So there was some, that was yesterday.
Yep.
But the other part of it, yesterday morning, we did go out. Did a very short service. Thank you very much. Short service. I know some of it was rehashed, but it's still, it's still part of the
It
that
doesn't
experience. The music was good.
But rehash never makes it less relevant.
Right, exactly.
Well, I will say, even I just made that comment, I would never rehash anything if I didn't think it was wrong.
Yeah.
So, there are tons of things that I said 5 years ago somewhere. It does need to be said again. But anyway, they painted that one room. Looked fantastic. And a couple of guys went out with some balloons. As an outreach, I have a question about this too, because I always think this is something we should probably just randomly after church do every other Sunday or so, because it's not that hard. Just go hit a park, take some balloons, and head on home after that. But what was your experience like with that yesterday?
Well, there was the helium tank fiasco that fortunately nobody really saw it. Our helium tank was brand new out of the box, and the nozzle kept popping off on us.
Yeah.
It was like stripped out or something. And so fortunately, they decided to do that when we were not away from everybody else. For the most part, there was one guy just eating lunch. They wasn't going to get a balloon, but
I could have given you a balloon.
but anyway, so when we got to, that was the first spot where we didn't get 2 outreaches. We still going to send out 2 balloons, even though there's hardly anybody in the first park. That was
2 outreach, 2 parks.
2 parks.
Okay.
2 people getting balloons, 2 families getting balloons. Were in that first park that did not see the fiasco. That was the important part. So anyway, that was kind of neat. We got to chat a little bit with one of the families, is a toddler and his young parents that lived right around in Arkansas, actually. So got to chat with them for a few minutes. So that was fun. Cool. And then we went to a different park, and the nozzle decided to work the way sort of it should. So we were able to, and there was a big picnic going on, so we were able to hand out a whole bunch of balloons right there.
If we can't get it to go back on properly, and if I don't have a replacement, if we might not just take that thing.
Yeah,
JB will.
It can get on there secure enough, and if we put some adhesive on there, like silicone or something.
You want like an industrial helium tank? I can get you that. There's a welding supply store that I know has.
We used to rent those.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So whenever we had to do an event, I mean, this is pre both of these guys actually, but I would rent them a big tall thing and do a big kind of event. But I always found out it was way overkill.
There's so much of those tanks, it's ridiculous.
And it costs about, back in the day, it was like $50 or something like that to rent.
Mm-hmm.
But you could buy a tank of 30 to 50, for like, well, at the time, about like $23 or something. Now it's starting to go back up again now. This was closer to 30 at the time. Like, what's happened to the helium prices? But anyway, so I just thought, for what I'm using them for, I just thought,
you don't need the big
I don't think I need to rent this big giant.
Need a dolly to like get it to your spot or whatever.
Because sometimes we'll use the balloon thing for just a few. Yeah, we'll use the balloon thing for just a few balloons, and that's all I'm using.
Right.
And we still have it, and it still stays around for a long time. Random behind the scenes on the podcast. But that's funny. But you guys interact with a couple of people anyway.
We did. We went to 3 different parks, but 2 of them, it was super hot whenever we went out. And I'd also like to think that the reason the 2 parks that we went to where nobody was there, that they were all at church.
Well,
let me pretend that.
Sure.
However, we did right across the street at Hamden Run. There were a few families there. 3 families, and we talked to each one of them. One of them, whenever we were talking about, where we meet and the movie night, and the mom was like, "Yeah, I just transferred there," and the little girl was like, "Oh, I'm going to kindergarten there next year."
Yeah,
so
I'm curious to find out who they're.
Yeah, they're gonna be there anyway. Another family had a couple of kids, and again invited them to the movie night, so it'd be nice to see them there as well. And then the last guy, he was playing with his dog, and his daughter was there, and I asked her if she wanted a balloon, and it was stranger danger. And he was watching, and I was like, "Balloon?" And he's like, yeah. But she didn't want to take it, so I just tied it. And I said, "Hey, I'm going to tie this to the bench. If she wants to take it home, that's fine. If not, just leave it there."
Stranger danger. That's making me think of the last movie night thing. Yeah. I'm sorry. I can't remember if we talked about that on the podcast.
Yeah, it would be nice to see, any, part of those groups that we encountered.
They were all really interested in it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is such a fun thing that we're doing. We haven't had any pre-registrations yet, which is a surprise. We have been advertising via Facebook.
Yeah.
But
I'm going.
You are going to be there.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're
Yeah.
All right.
Somebody needs to.
We probably
on
need
the
to
other
talk-
side of the screen.
Yeah, we probably need to. Everything will be exactly the same as before, except this time we have them. They've all arrived. Bob, we talked about this, but we have they're plant-based, but it's off insect repellent wipes.
Oh,
So they don't mess up your clothes or anything else. So everybody was like getting eaten alive by mosquitoes.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that'll
My
happen
ankles
this
were
time.
chewed up last time.
Oh yeah, we had a couple of people who had to leave early.
Wipes.
They left early because of the bugs. So
Oh,
I don't want that to happen again. So everybody, until we run out of them, here's one for you. Here's one for you.
so the only thing I worry about this next movie night is I have looked at the forecast and there is a
Yeah,
increased
it's like a
chance of
40%.
rain.
Yeah, last time I looked.
But it's Colorado and it's just Monday, so you know we got a few days for Colorado to change its mind.
And you know, even if it's like there was something a couple of nights ago, it was like, oh, whoa, and a storm, thunder, and it lasted 15 minutes,
Yeah.
and then the sun was out again.
Well,
The
yesterday.
difference here is that we would have wet grass.
Yesterday at the garden, we had,
Yeah.
I mean, like,
That's
a little bit of
rain.
rain
Yeah,
and
that's
a sprinkle on, yeah.
But it did rain.
A lot of wind, little rain.
I'm glad that we watered. Because as
Yeah.
soon as the rain
Yeah,
started,
you
I'm
just
thinking,
never
like,
know.
oh, do we?
Yeah.
And then, it's, yeah.
There wasn't enough of it. Right?
Not at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So who knows? I mean, we'll try to make that call. I would hate to have to do it on Saturday.
Yeah.
But Friday just worked so great this time
I
around
agree.
because you got recovery day on Saturday.
I agree.
I have to show up the next day. Anyway,
That's the truth.
that's this Friday. How to Train Your Dragon. It's gonna be fun.
Be there.
Always wanted to learn to train my dragon.
And then this Sunday's a,
Base
Base
camp. Are you still on? You think?
yeah, for sure.
Worship leading by
Practicing earlier.
Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jason.
So I was going to say it's also our big garden day, too.
And there's also, yes. So every Sunday, people can join us in the afternoon, can help with weeding, whatever. But this is one, a focus day. We want as many people as possible that can help.
I got a list of things we can do, so.
I was gonna say we just picked all the weeds.
Yeah, we'll be a little more. Also,
weeds.
More weeds.
I think composting a lot of the stuff. Like
Yeah,
just laying
yeah.
some of that around. Maybe add a little more mulch to the paths. Trimming our
Around.
border
Yeah.
with the weed whacker. Yeah, I'll just do a lot of.
And maybe once, I know that as people get there, it's harder to stop and kind of fill in on what needs to happen. But maybe as soon as everybody gets there, we'll give them some clear direction.
Yeah.
Maybe make assignments of
I'll put my list together.
who wants to just watch and encourage. Who brought a lawn chair? That's probably fun too. But yeah, just go through the list. And, I mean, 2 or 3 people to do this. Anybody?
I'll try and figure out which edge spaces ours too. If you could have an opportunity to clean that up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Still have no idea what section of the edge we're supposed to be taking care of. But
I think we should probably try
like
to find a
there's
place
like
for
a couple feet of mulch that go around the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
And every plot is given like 25 feet to maintain.
Oh.
And she never sent us the map of where ours was, so
I have no clue.
How do you
maintain
Never-
it?
just like weeded and trim
Oh,
it
I
and
see.
stuff. That's all. Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Maybe just pick a spot.
We'll just pick like a random 25 feet that looks like it needs some love. We'll just,
This is ours.
This is-
I mean, there's enough of us. We could just do the whole.
we do like one whole row, like one whole edge, yeah, whole fence line.
Probably could. That'd take a little bit.
Whatever.
Yeah, that's. I mean, overall, it's a big area, you know. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'd like
Well,
to do something with all those bricks and stuff. And
Oh, we'll clear those
Yeah,
out too.
chicken
That's
wire.
that's something else we'll have to do.
yeah.
well, our podcast has digressed a little here.
It's become
has.
very
It's-
podcast.
Well, we're just talking.
It's not really message rich, I guess, but,
Well,
it's
that's
church
okay.
rich. I mean, it's
Yeah,
what we
it is.
do.
Yeah.
The kinds of things we do in the community and
Yeah.
for each other, and stuff like that. And
That's the key.
That's very important.
I will. You guys will be happy to know.
It's
that
part of
this-
loving your neighbor.
Ooh, this Sunday, I will not be talking about stronger. So you're welcome. So that's there were like 5 weeks of talking
Are
about
we moving on
stronger.
to closer,
Closer.
more stronger, closer?
Yep.
I want to make sure I had the order right.
Yeah. Good job.
Say,
Yeah.
all right, Jake.
Yeah.
Close. Yeah, that's awesome. Man. Closer is a twofold thing. It's sort of a cheat I threw in there. It's closer to God and closer to each other. Usually I say closer to God first, and we deal with that, and then closer to each other. But I might flip those around for the very reason you were just talking about. But they so work together. They're so important. Closer to God, it has three basic ideas, fundamental ideas about it, and that is it's intentional. James says, draw close to God, and He will draw close to you. And so there's that whole understanding of God's presence, which is always around, and then His manifested presence. So I use the manifested word, because there's just not another word that works. If there was a simpler word, it's God making Himself known. It's that idea that He's, really, I don't know if you've ever had those experiences where you're praying or you're reading scripture or you pray something and you immediately have a response or an answer, or you sense God's closeness. There's a manifested presence, draw close to Him. So there's that idea, and then there's the idea of prayer and the idea of worship. And so all those are kind of wrapped into that draw closer to God idea. Closer to each other, I always love talking about, because it's so different than what most people think of when they think of church. And so it's so much better. It's so much better than you think. So anyhow, so I may flip that around. We may talk about that first. It's that genuine fellowship idea.
Cool.
Which includes serving together, sweating together, getting to know each other.
Hanging out and weeding together.
Hanging out and eating together, all those kinds of things. It's more of the adventure of shared experience than it is just hanging out.
Don't die long.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Anyhow, on that coffee note, where are we? We're near.
I mean, we have plenty of time to.
Oh, sweet.
You can stop
What
whenever
else?
you want. Whenever you want.
You can stop talking whenever you want.
I wanted to share with you guys one quick note. So our receptionist at the office, I'll talk about what we do as Compass Church and the things that we're doing this summer, and movie nights in the garden and the outdoor services and all these different things. And she just, after I told her about the last movie night and then how we helped paint the schools and stuff, she just kind of stops and goes, I really like the way your church does outreach.
Oh,
I
cool.
was like, oh, thank you. Like, that's so cool. And well, she's Catholic. I don't know if she'd ever actually come to one of our services, but even just from describing to her, what we're doing, and how we're doing things as a church.
Yeah.
She just thought that was really cool, and that's coming from someone that's never even met any of you guys.
That's so
She
cool.
thinks it's cool. So yeah.
I think it's cool on multiple levels, Jake, that you shared that. Thank you for sharing that, because it's cool to hear that kind of response from the kinds of things you do. And it's also encouraging and cool to me that you love and telling people.
Absolutely. I share it with a lot of people. Like if people are curious to ask me about it, I'm happy to share. What we do and why I go to Compass Church and all that. So it's fantastic.
I need to send you each week out with a little stack of connection cards, the little invite cards. So if somebody starts asking, like, when do you guys meet? You can go, oh, here, just go check it out. Send them straight to the website. Yeah, you don't want to be hard sell. But those are designed for when someone's already kind of interested.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah. So don't go put them on urinals and stuff.
No.
Please take
Restaurant.
one.
Yeah, like go to I always see this. It's that same thing like in political seasons when there are a billion signs. But particularly as you're going up to a voting place or something, it's like, do you really think?
I've already filled it out.
Sign number 45 has changed my mind. I'm going to vote for them. Or if you go to the oil change place and there are 50,000 just random business cards. I don't know. Anyhow, anyway, thanks for sharing that, because that's very cool. Very glad to hear that. And I will say, particularly about the garden thing, it is such an easy thing. Was it you?
Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday.
It's an easy point of conversation.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And it's also very unexpected. So there are a couple of people even at the school who have approached me because I just randomly mentioned something about our community garden. Yeah. You guys are doing what? And just really into it. And then several weeks later, and I'd forgotten I'd even mentioned it to this later, and she was like, "So Johnny, how's the community garden?"
Yeah.
Hey, yeah. Well, I forgot I talked to you. Yeah, it's going great. I think that's really cool. Yeah, let me show you some pictures. And they're like, "Oh wow, it is going." So I love it. It works on many, many levels. Well, what else, guys?
I don't know. We just kind
go
of
band practice on Thursday. Everybody's
Yeah.
a little off of
That's all
podcast
right.
topic, but since we're talking about it.
Those who are following our podcast, They like the
They're probably in the
behind the scenes. They're probably in the band.
Leona. Don't forget Thursday. Thursday is a worship practice, okay?
Oh, the other thing is we just did Church on the Green, right?
We did.
That was last Sunday.
Yes.
See, it's all
Because we didn't
together.
do a
do-
podcast right after that, right?
Right, July 4th. So
July, so yeah, that's right, we did that.
And that went great. I really enjoyed being here on that day too.
that was
Yeah.
that was a very
It's a
nice.
good day.
I like this little. All we're doing is kind of reminiscing about what we've been doing actively as a church together. I love it.
I know sometimes, like last time we did it, some random person came wandering in. I don't
Yeah.
think anybody random person came wandering in this
I
time.
don't think so.
And I wasn't really watching to see if anybody was, paying attention from the other side of the fence or the other side of the road or anything like that. You were out there.
Nobody that was in the park ran away.
Yeah.
In fact, many of them were still holding balloons that had
Yes.
been handed.
Yeah.
Exactly. So.
Yeah. And no cops were called. So.
Yeah, one gentleman who we gave his kid a balloon. He's like, "This is awesome," and he stayed there the entire time. So
Oh, good.
That's good.
Yeah, that's good. So it's all.
I was thinking about the park thing. It's like, I wonder who can. And even if we don't get people to come in for Compass Church, maybe
Right.
they're in the park and they hear the
Yeah,
song, or it
Yes.
sparks something, and they go,
right.
you know what,
Hmm.
I really should try and find a relationship with God again,
Yeah,
or just even explore that avenue.
Right.
Yeah, and they may never even come to Compass Church, but if our music reached them in
And-
such a way,
and
that's
that's
pretty
okay.
cool.
Yeah.
Somebody will talk to them. It's like we may water, somebody else may. It's all part of
Right.
that chain that God's working in people's lives, and we'll see some fruit of that as well. From somebody else's planting.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and also in our day and age, you almost have to prove before you can speak or make a point, you almost have to prove your point by who you are
Mhm.
and what you do. And so that means Christians in our culture, we do need to understand how to. I've been kind of bashing arguing here lately. I don't mean that we should never defend our faith and know what we believe and why, and can kind of meet some of those points with grace with people.
Mhm.
But what I mean is that what speaks louder is our love that we display and how we flesh out what we say we believe. So it's really changing us. We're not perfect. We're still humble about these things. But we actually do want to do good things. We're not just sitting in a little circle every Sunday and, bashing that evil world out there.
Right.
We want to be light and salt in that world and shine what we found in Christ. So, good stuff, guys.
Actually, that sort of thing came up right before the podcast when we were talking about Mike Winger's things.
Right.
And, if you can work on loving God, that means that you won't shy away from telling people the truth.
Right.
But there are ways to do it that might still hurt their feelings, but there's ways you can do it that will tear them down, and that's exactly what we're not supposed to do.
Right.
It's a matter of the truth in love.
Yes,
and not
exactly.
There has to be truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the pendulum that swings too far sometimes in
Mhm.
churches. Well-meaning, sometimes I think. But they soften things too much.
Yeah. And
And then, they're real lovey-lovey, but they're not telling the real truth. And I don't think you're really being very loving if you're not telling the truth.
That's exactly
flattery.
Yeah, I think that's pure flattery. If
Yeah.
you're willing to tell someone to their face that I love you, and and to confess that to them, and then the reality is, even in your heart, that's not true. I think that's because flattery is complimenting in their face, and then not
Sure.
behind closed doors what you wouldn't say to their face. So yeah, it's kind of the same thing. And you really, without that love of God, how else can you love other people even more?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
So true. I remember even teachers and people along the way, bosses even that I've worked with, as I was growing up and going through, the ones that were not mean, but they would tell me the harsh truth, as uncomfortable as it was, or even maybe mad or whatever. Ultimately, they're the ones that I respected the most. I didn't feel like they were just being fluffy with me. But I knew they really did care about me. They're the ones I wanted to Am I doing it right now?
Right.
Ultimately, in my
Yeah.
head, I might not even say it out loud, but inside, the respect level goes up because you're able to tell me the harsh truth. It's like I've said before, if I go to the doctor, I don't want him to be so afraid of hurting my feelings that I got to tell him I have cancer.
Right.
Well, that not just
They're just gonna say, "Hey, you're gonna break down and not gonna like me."
pretty really.
It's not that bad.
Like it is.
And you're a good guy. Anyway.
Oh my goodness.
Well, we're all just kind of struggling through on this thing, but I'm enjoying being on the journey with you guys. So I've said that many times. Compass Church, though flawed, imperfect, and has all these issues. In fact, I think Bob, and I were talking about this, that on any given Sunday, I know people love to judge churches by its individual people.
Sure.
And on any given Sunday, you may have somebody who's only there for the first time. You may have somebody who's not even a Christian yet. You may have somebody, so you can't look to. It is. I know it's a double-edged thing, because how we behave demonstrates to the world that we're followers of Christ. But if you come to our church, hopefully there will be people who are not very Christ-like also there. And you can't judge our whole church
Yeah.
and what we're about and what we stand for by who we so embraced and said you're welcome to be here. So it's a weird balance, but truth and love. But don't forget the truth. Well, all right. Well, that was a good discussion, guys. Now we're probably rubbish. All right, so we are going to take a little hiatus, just for a few weeks, just so you know. Hiatus. Welcome.
It is, but
Not a long one. We're going to
Strange thing.
come back big and strong. It's going to be fantastic. Any other things you guys want to share or talk about before we wrap it up?
no. Just tired.
Yeah. Somebody had to say it. Somebody had to say we're tired on Monday.
I mean, 6.5 hours is. Look, I used to be able to do 6.5 hours consistently of sleep every night, and I could be okay with it. Now I'm like, no, 6.5 hours. I need some more sleep. So yeah, I'm tired.
But one of those things, I was tired today until podcast started getting closer, and it's like and started revving up. So
Yeah, but the air's been off, and it's starting to heat.
Oh,
up.
yeah.
it's starting to feel it.
It's time to wrap up the podcast. All right. Well, you need to understand and know that we meet somewhere in the world every week, but always online. You can find us on Facebook by searching Compass Church Colorado. You can discover more at compassdenver.com, and we would love to have you as our guest this Sunday. All right, final words.
With all my heart, love you guys. Love everyone out there.
Likewise.
This has been great.
Grace and peace to you. That is all we have for tonight, and we are out.
Bye.
See you in a few weeks.
See you.